Hi everybody, so I'm here today to review the Tarte Maracuja Creaseless Cream Concealer, and I have it in shade light medium, which is kind of irrelevant if this shade isn't going to work for you. So obviously I'm going to be reviewing the formula, but if you're purchasing this online and you feel like you're similar to me, that's just sort of a tone comparison. This does come in 9 shades ranging from light, fair, light medium, medium, and all the way up to deep. So it's a decent range, except it doesn't come in an extremely dark formula, unfortunately, which hopefully they will get a jump on that soon. I believe that they could use about 12 shades of this concealer, but it's a newer product, so hopefully they'll add that later. So what this concealer is a full coverage creamy concealer that isn't supposed to flake on your skin or leave it feeling dry or patchy, or allowing this concealer to get into fine lines. What it's supposed to do is help hydrate the skin and also leave sort of a dewy moisture to the skin. For this particular product, however, it's not extremely dewy, which is great considering it's a concealer. I've used extremely wet looking concealers in the past, and for some people who want high coverage, dewy could amplify imperfections. So this would look nice with dewy finished skin, but it does dry down to a rather nice satin finish. Extremely rich, thick, heavy consistency, very pigmented product. You know, the saying, a little goes a long way, which gets a little annoying at times because it's like, well, how much goes a long ways? Little line on my hand, hopefully you can see that. That's really all you need to cover from here to here, and maybe even your nose bridge. I have that little swipe, and it's going to cover a great deal of the back of my hand. Sorry if you can't see that, obviously it's in my skin tone. I've actually seen a great deal of complaints from customers who purchased this product thinking that they got a faulty product, saying that there's a lot of air in their tube versus product. Now I actually want to touch base on that. Number one, you are paying $24 for this concealer, so obviously you want your product because that is a lot of money for a small tube of makeup. Number two, concealer doesn't go all over the face, and I prefer it worn on top of my foundation and never before, because when you put on your foundation it's going to move. So to get the most out of your product, regardless of what you're paying for your concealer, put it on top is my recommendation. Yes, there is a lot of air in this tube. I have purchased products where they're completely filled to the top, to the brim, like this, and what ends up happening is there's nowhere for the product to escape when you're pushing on the tube to get the product out. So what ends up happening is the top of this tube ends up kind of exploding, which I've noticed especially when I used to purchase Too Faced shadow insurance. My Too Faced shadow insurance at the top would always explode, and I would have to staple it because they would fill it to the brim. No joke, literally my concealer starts right about there, just as a heads up. It doesn't go all the way up to the top. It is distributed in the package a little unevenly just because it's so thick. So I have some going from here to like up here. It's just kind of ended up being lopsided in how it shipped, and this is just what ended up happening. However, the good news is you don't have to mix up this product. It doesn't run. You don't have to sit there and kind of swirl it and shake it to get it back together. It stays compact within that space. So that's just something to look at, not necessarily the size of the tube. They're going to put the amount that you get in here right there at the back. So this is 8 grams of product. The tube might be able to contain 10 to 12 grams. Yes, they probably did spend some money on the packaging. I do love this tiny little wood lid. It does make me feel like I have a very high-end product. Now, although I know Tarte's not cheap, this is still not Chanel or Dior. So it's like having, you know, it's like having very high-end eco-friendly product. I actually would love to have this in an even slightly lighter shade, just to do a little bit more highlighting with concealer, and maybe even one in a darker shade to do a little bit of very light contouring. So it is one of those concealers that you could use about 3 or 4 colors just for yourself if you wanted to do the work of highlighting, covering, and contouring. It could cover scars depending on how deep your scarring is. Obviously, if you have divots in your skin, holes in your skin, makeup can't resurrect that too well, because if you have a chunk taken out of your skin, when you turn into a certain light, somebody may or may not see that. But hey, we all got them, so that's just something to live with and own. As far as acne scarring goes, this does once again dry to a satin skin-like finish, so it will do that job of covering the redness. However, it is very difficult to cover, once again, texture, raised areas. If you wanted to actually take a break and let your skin that may or may not be suffering by using a lighter coverage and then using this to just coat those particular spots of embarrassment, this would actually work really, really well for that and blend beautifully into a tinted moisturizer. The product doesn't smear. As soon as I set it, it stays in place. Even though it is extremely high coverage, I never feel weighted in this. Of course, if you pack on an excess amount, that might vary for you, but I have actually put on quite a bit today. Hopefully you can see a little bit of a difference in my skin, or a little bit of difference in the coverage. Actually, I'm truly enjoying this concealer, and it has been my favorite that I've tried this year. I have no disclaimer for this concealer at all. Just be aware of why the packaging is the way that this is, and it's got cute packaging. It's 8 grams, very high pigmented concealer, so it'll probably be about a good 3 to 4 months before one person runs out of this. As long as you use this, I would say, the way it's intended to be used, which is somewhat sparingly. You're not supposed to use tons and tons and tons of this every day. It's just not necessary. I believe you'll like this more if you just give us a try, squirt out a pea-sized amount, see how far it goes, and if you need more, go for it. Sometimes when we put on too much cream products, they can get a little creasy, so that's just another heads up if anybody experienced overly creasing. But then again, everybody's skin is different, so some people will experience creasing regardless of the packaging claims of creaseless concealer on this. You know, I will experience some creasing too because of the lines under my eyes, and that's just the way my face is made. But for what it's worth, this I like to think of this as a no smear concealer versus a creaseless concealer, you know. Alright, so I hope that you enjoyed my review of this. I truly enjoy that love, love, love of my life for concealers this year, and thank you for watching.